She cleaned toilets while her billionaire father searched the world for her. An emotional story by Heartfelt Tales. The cafeteria erupted in cruel laughter as Maya Chen's worn-out sneakers slipped on the deliberately spilled milk, sending her crashing to the floor along with her carefully saved lunch. As she sat there, her second-hand clothes soaked and her dignity shattered, 17-year-old Maya had no idea that 3,000 miles away, the most powerful man in the country was staring at her childhood photograph with tears streaming down his face, whispering her name like a prayer he'd been repeating for 15 years. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you think will happen next. Your support means everything to our Heartfelt Tales family. Maya scrambled to collect the scattered contents of her backpack while her tormentors, led by the cruel Madison Walsh, continued their relentless mockery. "Look at those pathetic clothes," Madison sneered, her designer handbag worth more than Maya's entire wardrobe. "Did you fish them out of a dumpster again, orphan girl?" The word orphan cut through Maya like a knife, just as it always did. She had grown up in the overcrowded Sunny Hills children's home, never knowing the warmth of a parent's love or the security of belonging somewhere. What Maya didn't know was that her father, Alexander Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries and one of the wealthiest men alive, had never stopped searching for her. 15 years ago, his world had crumbled when his wife died in a car accident and their 2-year-old daughter Maya vanished from the wreckage. Despite hiring the best investigators money could buy and following thousands of leads across the globe, every trail had gone cold. The car had exploded, and in the chaos, somehow his precious little girl had simply disappeared. At Lincoln High School, Maya's daily routine was a masterclass in survival. She arrived early to avoid the crowds, ate lunch alone in the library, and stayed late to clean classrooms for extra money to help Mrs. Patterson, the kind director of her children's home who struggled to make ends meet. Despite the constant bullying in her threadbare existence, Maya possessed something that money couldn't buy, an unbreakable spirit and a brilliant mind that shone through even in her darkest moments. Her only friend was Jamie Rodriguez, a quiet boy who understood what it meant to be an outsider. "You don't deserve this," he would tell her after particularly brutal days. "Someday, the whole world will see how amazing you are." Maya would smile sadly, wondering if someday would ever come, or if she was destined to remain invisible forever. The turning point came on a rainy Thursday afternoon when Maya witnessed something that would change everything. She was walking past the old industrial district when she saw a black sedan careening toward a small child who had chased a ball into the street. Without thinking, Maya sprinted forward and threw herself at the child, pushing him to safety just as the car screeched to a halt inches from where they both landed. The child's mother rushed over, crying and thanking Maya repeatedly, but what caught Maya's attention was the man who stepped out of the sedan. He was tall and distinguished, with kind eyes and an aura of quiet authority. When he looked at Maya, something flickered across his face, a flash of recognition so intense it made him stagger backward. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice strangely hoarse. "That was incredibly brave." Maya nodded, brushing herself off and trying to ignore how the stranger's intense gaze made her feel exposed and somehow vulnerable. There was something familiar about him, though she was certain they'd never met. That man was Alexander Sterling, and seeing Maya's face up close had triggered a memory so powerful it nearly brought him to his knees. The shape of her eyes, the determined set of her jaw, the way she moved, it was like looking at his beloved wife Sarah and his lost daughter all at once. That night, he called his head of security with shaking hands. "I need you to find out everything about a girl named Maya Chen at Lincoln High School." Everything. The investigation that followed revealed a story that would haunt Alexander forever. Maya had indeed been in that car accident 15 years ago. In the confusion and chaos, a paramedic named David Chen had found her wandering the crash site, injured and traumatized, with no memory of her past. Unable to identify her and with no family coming forward, she had been placed in foster care and eventually ended up at Sunny Hills Children's Home. The records were incomplete, the investigation shoddy, and somehow, Alexander's own daughter had slipped through the cracks of the system. Meanwhile, at school, Maya's situation was deteriorating. Madison had discovered Maya's part-time job cleaning offices and had started a vicious campaign to humiliate her even further. Videos of Maya scrubbing floors were shared around school with cruel captions. The psychological toll was becoming unbearable, and Maya found herself wondering if disappearing entirely might be better than enduring another day of torment. It was on one such dark day that Alexander Sterling arrived at Lincoln High School, unannounced and with a file folder clutched in his trembling hands. He had spent days agonizing over how to approach Maya, how to tell her that everything she believed about herself was wrong, that she wasn't alone in the world after all. Maya was in the library, as usual, when the principal's voice crackled over the intercom asking her to come to the main office. Her stomach dropped, wondering what she could possibly have done wrong now. When she walked into the office and saw the distinguished man from the street accident sitting there with tears in his eyes, she felt the world tilt on its axis. "Maya," Alexander said, his voice breaking, "I need to tell you something that will change everything. 15 years ago, I lost my daughter in a car accident. Her name was Maya Sterling, and she would be exactly your age now." He opened the folder with shaking hands, revealing photographs, DNA test results, and birth certificates. "You are my daughter. You are the child I've been searching for every single day for 15 years. The silence in the room was deafening. Maya stared at the documents, her mind reeling. Her whole life, she had dreamed of this moment, but now that it was here, it felt surreal and overwhelming. The man sitting across from her wasn't just any man, he was Alexander Sterling, whose face graced magazine covers and whose business empire was known worldwide. And he was claiming to be her father. "I don't understand," Maya whispered, her voice barely audible. "I've been nobody my whole life. I'm just a foster kid who cleans toilets for extra money. How can I be your daughter?" Alexander's heart broke at the pain in her voice, at the years of suffering she had endured while he lived in luxury, unaware of her existence. The DNA results were undeniable, and slowly, Maya began to accept the impossible truth. She was Maya Sterling, heir to a fortune beyond her wildest dreams, daughter to one of the most powerful men in the country. But more than that, she was loved. For the first time in her conscious memory, she was truly, unconditionally loved. The news spread through Lincoln High School like wildfire. Madison Walsh, who had made Maya's life a living hell, suddenly found herself face to face with someone who could buy and sell her family's business without breaking a sweat. The tables had turned completely, but Maya's response surprised everyone, including herself. Standing in front of the entire school at an assembly, Maya looked out at the faces that had tormented her for so long. "Some of you have made my life very difficult," she said, her voice steady and strong. "But I learned something important from all of you. You taught me that kindness isn't about what you have, but who you choose to be. You taught me that real strength comes from how you treat others when you have nothing to gain from it." She paused, looking directly at Madison. "I could make your lives miserable now. I have that power. But I won't, because I'm not you. Instead, I'm going to use what I have to make sure no other kid has to go through what I went through." And with that, Maya announced the establishment of the Sterling Foundation for Children, a multi-million-dollar initiative to support kids in foster care and combat bullying in schools. Alexander watched his daughter with pride swelling in his chest. She had inherited more than just his DNA, she had inherited his late wife's incredible heart and an inner strength forged by years of adversity that had made her into something extraordinary. Maya's life transformed overnight, but she never forgot where she came from. She continued to live modestly, using her newfound resources to help other children like herself. Mrs. Patterson and Sunny Hills Children's Home became the first beneficiaries of her foundation, receiving enough funding to expand their programs and give every child the support they deserved. Jamie Rodriguez, her loyal friend, became her closest confidant in navigating her new world. "I always knew you were special," he told her one day as they walked through the halls of Lincoln High, where Maya was now treated with a mixture of awe and respect. "I just never imagined you were literally a princess." Maya laughed, but then grew serious. "I'm not a princess, Jamie. I'm just someone who got a second chance. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure other kids get their second chances too." Alexander and Maya's relationship grew stronger each day. They discovered they shared the same dry sense of humor, the same fierce determination, and the same capacity for forgiveness that bordered on the miraculous. Alexander often marveled at how his daughter had emerged from 15 years of hardship not bitter or broken, but compassionate and wise beyond her years. The story of Maya Sterling spread far beyond the walls of Lincoln High School. News outlets picked up the tale of the foster child who became an heiress overnight, but what captivated the public wasn't the fairy tale transformation, it was Maya's response to it. Instead of seeking revenge on those who had wronged her, she chose to create something beautiful from her pain. Madison Walsh, facing the reality of how cruel she had been to someone who could have destroyed her, eventually approached Maya with a tearful apology. "I don't deserve your forgiveness," she said, "but I need you to know that I'm sorry. I was awful to you, and I hate who I was." Maya looked at the girl who had made her life so difficult and felt something unexpected, pity, not anger. "We all make mistakes, Madison. What matters is what we do next." As Maya settled into her new life, she never lost sight of the lessons her difficult past had taught her. Every Monday, she still visited Sunny Hills Children's Home, not as a benefactor, but as a big sister to the kids who were living the life she had escaped. She shared her story not to inspire pity, but to give them hope that their circumstances didn't define their futures. Sometimes, she would tell them, the very things that seem to break us are actually making us stronger than we ever imagined possible. Your story isn't over just because this chapter is hard. Alexander watched his daughter with wonder, understanding that losing her and finding her again had been the most painful and beautiful journey of his life. She had taught him that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars, but in the impact you have on others' lives. Together, they built not just a business empire, but a legacy of compassion that would outlast any fortune. Maya's transformation from bullied foster child to beloved heiress became a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of kindness, and the truth that our worth isn't determined by our circumstances, but by the content of our character. She had been searching for a family her entire life, only to discover that she had been creating one all along, with Mrs. Patterson, with Jamie, and with every person whose life she had touched along the way. In the end, Maya Sterling learned that being found by her father was just the beginning. The real journey was learning to find herself, and in doing so, helping countless others find their way too. Her story reminds us all that sometimes the people who seem to have the least are actually the richest of all, and that every ending has the potential to become a beautiful new beginning. Thank you so much for joining us for this incredible journey with Maya Sterling. Stories like this remind us of the power of kindness, resilience, and never giving up hope. If this story touched your heart, please show your support by hitting that like button. It really helps our channel grow. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of Maya's story resonated most with you? Have you ever experienced bullying or witnessed someone rise above difficult circumstances? Your stories and perspectives make our Heartfelt Tales community so special. Don't forget to subscribe to Heartfelt Tales for more inspiring stories that celebrate the human spirit, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. Share this story with someone who might need to hear Maya's message of hope today. You never know whose life you might touch. Until next time, remember that your story isn't over, and sometimes the most beautiful chapters are yet to be written. Stay strong, stay kind, and keep believing in the power of second chances.